On That Dead Body Show, we talk about death and murder, and at times, we may use explicit language.
We're back. Welcome back to That Dead Body Show. I'm Douglas.
And I'm Brandy. Thanks for coming back and waiting on us and missing us and everybody asking us where we are. We had to take a few weeks break. Life just decided to kick us straight in the ass, but we're back.
We got a lot of changes coming to the show, guys. I want you to stay tuned for that. Well, the least of which will be that we're going to be back on a fairly regular basis now, recording. But we do have some changes coming. Watch for those. We do have a new promo that went up probably just before this did. If you have some friends you think might be interested in what we have to offer, point them in that direction. I'm sorry, I'm making Brandy laugh. Point them to our promo. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Brandy.
Just so we all know, I had surgery 2 weeks ago, and this motherfucker is making me laugh, and it hurts really bad because they Capri Sunned my belly button, and I'm in pain, so this just is not helping. I can't look at him anymore. Okay, so tonight we're bringing you another case of With Friends Like These.
Like Best of Fiends.
Yeah, right. 3 friends who decided to do a permanent unfriending back when unfriending was, I guess, more serious. Way more serious. There was no delete buttons.
Extreme bullying gone wrong.
Agreed. This week we bring you the story of the murder of Missy Avila. Cue the creepy kids.
Welcome to That Dead Body Show, episode number 7, The Murder of Missy Avila. You like my radio voice? Okay.
Yes. It's good to be back, guys. So my audio may be a little off. It's still hard for me to sit all the way up. So before you write a harsh review and think I care, have a nice day. Okay, so we're going to get right into it.
Those harsh reviews, they get people noticed.
Apparently. And like a few podcasts are currently receiving some really harsh ones.
You know, back when I was wrestling, in fact, I think they still call it this now. When you wanted to make a statement at someone, they called it cutting a promo. Check out our new promo, guys.
Okay, guys, so our story takes place in 1985, and back then, there was no social media, there was no internet. Kids actually hung out together. And,
it was like social.
Yeah, actually went places and did things. I know that sounds foreign. Everybody
went to the rec center and played pool.
Now, how many of our listeners were going,
all right. Yeah, rode our bikes across town.
Until dark.
Right. You had to be home by dark. Street lights are on, your ass is home, or your ass is not sitting down for dinner.
Right. Like, you got locked out. It was so crazy, because I remember my mom being like, quit coming in and out of my house. I'm going to lock the door, but be back by the lights. If I have to call you, if I have to come get you, you're in trouble. Which never made sense to me. Like, bitch, you're locking me out. Like, what?
And not against leaving you some water in a jug on the porch.
Oh, no, fuck. I didn't get no water in a jug. It was turn the hose pipe on and let it run. Yeah. Let it run for a second, because it's hot.
I love that hose pipe water taste.
I think my favorite was, if you come back to my door, something better have fallen off of you. Like a body part. Like, you better be dying.
Oh, but don't let them call your name twice. Right. Okay,
These were the rules back then, guys. Anyway, okay, so Missy Avila and Karen Severson, they met when they were around 8. And
it's like 3rd grade, 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yeah, except for you, because you were already, like, skipped so many grades. You're 8? Okay. You were, right?
Right.
When you were 8, you were in 5th? Grade skipping motherfucker. Anyway. So they actually, rode bikes, had sleepovers, played with dolls. This would have been, let's see, somebody do maths, because she was born in 68, so 75-ish.
75, 76.
Yeah. Oh, God, Donny Osmond dolls, and anyway.
Hey, Evel Knievel, baby.
Right, so Missy's mom actually considered Karen, I guess, family, or, I mean, maybe not family. I don't know that she ever really said family, but she said that she was very comfortable with her in the house. Like, she would just come over and come in. She didn't have to knock.
Translation for today's people: the person your kid has play dates with that you would bring over for a sleepover.
Right. Wow, we don't do that.
We don't do that, no.
Yeah.
No. We're antisocial, I guess you could say.
Guess.
So Missy and Karen were friends with a third girl, Laura Doyle, who grew up in the neighborhood, and they were friends throughout middle school, like best friends. They were all three considered best friends, and like almost inseparable through middle school.
So going into the 80s, moving from middle school to high school, as everybody does, they all begin to change and get their own identities, and not just change, physically, but emotionally too. We all change. Missy was considered beautiful and stylish and popular, and just everybody loved her.
But they were all three like mean girl popular.
Right.
They were like, in fact, Karen was like the bodyguard for Missy for a long time.
Karen was a big girl.
Karen was on the bigger side.
Karen was what some people call big bones.
With big meat on the big bones, but she was larger and was like the enforcer of the group of what are they called, the Heathers, I guess. No, I love that movie.
Yeah, but Laura was like tall and skinny, and
she was the
very,
queen bee.
Well, she was very tomboyish.
No, that's Laura.
Yeah,
Laura.
Everybody said that
she reminds me of the kid from
the Children
of the Corn
at the pinball.
Yeah. Is it Malachi? Is that Malachi?
I think so. Yeah, in the opening.
Oh yeah.
I want to say he says there's Yeah, it is Malachi. Anyway, but everybody was like, when she wore makeup, she could be pretty, but she just didn't. Now I'm going to insert here that very rarely do I wear makeup, and I just don't give a fuck. But
the picture that they have of her is not the most.
No,
and it's the only picture out there.
I can't find another picture of her, and it breaks my heart.
Right, with her braces and winged hair.
Was that braces?
I think it's braces. She had very large front teeth, but I do believe she had braces. But the winged hair is so 80s.
But remember, I should say, this is 85.
Right,
so
she was like the bad kid. She looked
like the kid that always was like, "I'm coming for you in the bathroom."
Right.
Like that was her.
3:15.
Yeah.
Moment
maybe
of
at
truth,
the park.
right? I want my $2. No, wait, that was a different kid.
Right? That was Karen. Anyway, so while Karen was, by all accounts, obese and
she was pretty.
She was pretty, but
she was very pretty. She was as pretty as Missy to me.
But she was, in everything I've read, she was described as obese. Right. Which, technically I'm obese, so, whatever. Right.
It doesn't take much to be obese. Now, when you get into morbidly obese, that's a little much, but that's whatever. Right. My 600-pound something or other.
Look, I love Dr. Now, so I need you to stop. That's my.
You could have done it, but you had pizza. Pizza's not on the diet.
No, he always says, you could have lost 30 pounds. He says 30. 30.
You could have lost 30 pounds. Okay, so.
But you didn't.
You ate pizza.
Why? No, he didn't even say what you ate. He doesn't give
no, he got on that one girl for everything she ate because she was, I'm trying. He's like, you're not trying.
What? I don't even.
Okay, let's not get on a tangent.
Right. Sorry,
so first time back, guys. Sorry, we're.
Right. Rags wants back here with us. If you can hear Rags, we're sorry.
He's whining.
He wants me to go back to bed.
Ragnar.
Don't call him, fuck. I just totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
She was the big girl, big boned.
Okay, so Karen had no rules, no boundaries at home, no curfew.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh no. He says, looking across the room at his son. who has no... He does have he won't go anywhere, damn it. He, like, we need a curfew on the house. Like, you got to get out of here.
Right.
Our son is just a techno geek. I mean, really, he's a gamer. He has long hair, though, so he's actually, I guess he at least looks the part of cool.
Yeah, we could post a picture of him. His hair's never been cut at all.
He's 11.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so, while Karen had no rules, Laura had no rules. Laura was, I wouldn't say a heavy drug user, but she would, they partied, but Missy didn't. Missy went home when she was supposed to and, didn't go to the parties. I mean, she probably went to the parties, but she wasn't irresponsible about it. Nothing I can find says that she was horribly irresponsible about, not coming home when she was supposed to. She didn't want to worry her mom.
Along with not having rules, is it Karen and Laura both had something else in common. Their growing disdain for their friend Missy.
Right.
They both started to, behind her back and growingly in her face, pick on her, make fun of her, say things to her.
They called her a slut and a whore.
Right, and it didn't help that Missy had at one time, I'm guessing this is a small town, had at one time dated boys that both dated each of the other two girls.
But Missy dated them first. So
right,
see,
she dated that later, dated Karen and Laura.
So I'm thinking that, like, to Karen and Laura, they probably felt like they were second choice.
But it became, I'm sure, a thing.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, Karen and Laura trusted neither of these guys around her.
Of course not, because
he had been with them
I think there was a good reason for at least one of them.
Well, no, there was. There was. When Missy was dating Victor, they kind of dated, for a little bit, not too long, and then they broke up. So then he starts dating Laura, but Laura is crazy pants. And she's, like, so jealous over all the females. Not just Missy, but especially Missy.
Victor plays no part in any of the happenings of this story.
No, other than him being the guy. The guy that she just, the
prize. Wow.
Right, yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
The object.
Well, he dumps her because he's like, I can't deal with your jealousy. Like, you're going to have to stop.
Which I'm sure does not help her attitude.
No, because she immediately blames it on Missy because he wanted to be back with Missy, which I don't think he originally necessarily did, but at this point, she drives by because she's
so jealous that she's clingy.
And she's kind of stalking him, pretty much. She's driving by his house, and she pulls up and sees Missy and Victor holding hands and kissing and laughing. So she drives up there towards the house, and she was like, I want to know what you're doing. And I think she thought her driving up there and saying, like, what the fuck are you doing, was going to cause him to be like, I mean, you're so right, Laura. But he didn't. He told her to leave and actually held Missy tighter to him. And then that's the first time it's mentioned.
What kind of car did she drive?
I really don't remember.
I'm sure it was something really cool in the 80s with that winged hair.
I'm sure.
Probably a Firebird or a Trans Am.
I don't think it ever mentioned.
But I know it does.
I know in the movie.
She comes screeching up, though.
In the movie.
Screaming out the window or whatever.
Say it was a Camaro in the movie.
I'm sure. Yeah. Bitch in Camaro. Sorry.
Did you say the bitch in the Camaro
Maybe.
or bitch in?
Bitch in Camaro.
Either way, bitch in the Camaro.
Either way. It's a punk song.
Right, Sorry. It works. But as time went on, the hate's growing, and now she's got a solid reason to hate her. Before this, it was kind of like in her head.
But from what I saw and like the few sources that are out there, Missy, up until this point, when she speeds up there and confronts them, hadn't even really thought about Victor that way again. And it was kind of like like a friendly kind of like you broke up with her. Maybe he was trying to rebound back to her.
I think he was. And I think
at that point she realized it.
Right. And
he's like, oh wait, he might be serious because he defended me in front of wings.
Right.
Or defended me to wings,
right.
Whatever.
And it's never mentioned from here out that they even dated again or anything. I think this was, like you said, him trying to get back with her. However, this is the first time that Laura mentions she's going to kill that bitch. And he tells the police later, I didn't take her serious. Because, let's be real, from everything I've read about these girls, they were hot-headed and always fighting with somebody. And probably...
But from more than one account, though, Missy wasn't as...
innocent.
She wasn't as able to back up her mouth.
Not only was she
like
not
she
able
would get
to,
herself into situations, and then Karen would bail her out, and that's of course by Karen's admission, but is the way everything points in the story from people who went to school with them, who've reported things that none of them were nice. That none of them were nice. That they were all just Heathers.
Yeah, in fact, there is on
Mean Girls.
Yeah, on one of the sites that I was reading. Of course, the person is anonymous, but she says flat out, Missy was not a nice girl. She was the worst bully she'd ever come across. That she didn't really hang out with Laura, but she knew her and Karen, and that Missy bullied her. And so, Missy wasn't this perfect angel that her mom has kind of made it out to be. I am by no means saying she deserved what happened to her.
Right.
But, when somebody dies, the first thing that most people want to do is they were all sunshine and light and everybody loves them and we miss them. However, that's not always the truth.
That reminds me of the Rags got in.
Hi, Raggles.
That reminds me, what is it? The, when I die, know that I went down.
Yes.
Saying something smart ass the whole time.
One of my favorite ones, and I think it's in my, featured photos, says, when I die, please do not tell 2020 that everybody liked me, and don't show the same, pictures of me. Tell everybody that I hated fucking everybody, and nobody liked me. Something to that effect. I can't remember the exact wording, but that's the truth. Please don't be fake about it. No, I have a list of people, and I don't want them at my funeral, and I want you to stand up and say, you, and you get out. Have a nice day.
So while this is going on between Missy and Laura, Karen is just fed up with it and goes behind Missy's back openly to people and tells these other girls, Missy's sleeping with your boyfriend. And this goes on, and she's spreading these rumors, and these girls confront Missy and
a whole group
of girls and jump her ass. And I guess afterwards she's like, I don't understand what's going on. Who would tell them that I didn't do it? And someone says, hey, Karen's doing it. And she's like, no, Karen would not betray me. She's like my bestie. And she continues to defend Karen until the junior year.
And during the junior year, for 5 whole seconds in teenage life, Missy dates a kid named Randy. But he's really into partying, and they break up maybe a month.
A month into the relationship, yeah.
He gets almost immediately into a relationship with Karen, and they move in together, bam. So now this is the second kid who's been oh, I was with Missy, and I guess now you're just second choice girls.
And then
they move in together.
Karen gets pregnant.
Yeah, and the first baby she aborts. But then with the second baby, she's like, no, I'm keeping this one. And Madonna must have been playing in the background.
And this sets a fire inside of her hatred for Missy.
Which I can't figure out why, but you're very right. Her having this baby just makes it so much worse. So they kind of chill as friends for a minute, because now Karen's all grown up with a man in an apartment, and Missy's still a teenager, even though, whatever, they're at the same age. But after she has the baby,
which is a little girl.
It is a little girl. And so Missy comes to visit her. They're kind of trying to rekindle their friendship. Or I guess Missy was kind of trying to rekindle the friendship. And she comes to visit Karen and the baby. And Karen steps out to go get a bottle from the kitchen. And Randy pulls Missy down on his lap. And
which
Karen
is not,
Okay, I have to say, if I was Karen and I went to the fucking kitchen and I came back and you had some bitch in your lap that I already was upset, thinking
you were with her before,
right? I'm gonna say I would. The fuck,
right?
Okay, I'm not a jealous person, but if I already had issues like Karen did,
then somebody would be doing a story on you.
Yes, I would not be here right now. However, I would also realize the fact that I can't even get this man to go out and play pool with his friends, so what the fuck? Anyway. But Karen had issues. Deep issues. So after this, they have words, and Missy tries to tell her, look, dude, like, you went to the fucking kitchen, he pulled me down on him, and Karen's like, no, bitch, this was all you, like, you did this. I guess she, in her head, Missy just come sashaying by and just sat on Randy. I don't fucking know.
It's like when she says the girl on a talk show back in the day, it was an accident.
Right.
And the guy was like, oh, you slipped and fell on his dick.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, in Karen's mind, I mean, I really, 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 truly believe that to her, Missy was just like, I'm trying to take your guy. Like, I really think. Again, I'm not saying that Missy deserved any of this, but I am saying that I do fully believe that Karen had issues, and I think she truly thought that Missy was trying to do.
She obviously had some insecurities.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not lie. We all have insecurities.
Right.
Even pretty people. Us ugly folks really have insecurities.
I just know I'm ugly. Fucking A. I have a great fucking sparkling personality.
You
so
do.
There's that.
You do. I'm sorry.
I wish Hunter could hear this.
Right. Yeah, well, I don't, because he would chime into, he turns around. Look at him.
He's only got one headphone
in. Sneaky peeky. Look at him.
Okay, so side note. One day, my son told me that I had RBF, but the B never rested, so I think he thinks that I'm just a bitch all the time.
He's playing Destiny 2, I believe. You'll search him out. The long-haired kid.
Hunter, is it the or that long-haired kid?
It's the long-haired kid.
Okay. Well, there's that.
Let's get him some views.
Right.
I told him I bought that computer for him. He's about to be streaming. Of course, he goes, no kid wants to do what you asked them to do, even when it's fun stuff. It's like, you want me to go to the pool? No. So they're pretty good, and a new girl moves in on the situation in September of '85.
Right. It's Eva
moves in with Karen.
I am not even going to attempt her last name because, bless her heart, if she was to ever listen to this, I don't want her to write me a hate letter.
So
I believe I'm gonna. Okay, I'm lying.
Chirumbolo.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that Chirumbolo. Okay. If it's Chirumbolo,
so
let us know.
Right. So she moves in with Karen, but in everything I've read, it only says she moved in with Karen. So I've wondered multiple times, even back in the day when this horrible Lifetime movie came out. Okay, I'm saying that. I don't know if it was really Lifetime, but it was like the movie of the week.
Right. I think it was, who was in the movie?
I cannot think of that woman's name, but she's got really blue eyes.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway. Oh, it is. It's Patty Duke. It is fucking Patty Duke.
I'm the movie guy. Yeah.
Yes, it is Patty Duke. Anyway, that is a really good movie.
But the movies are so never near the real deal.
Okay, I will say this. I don't know how true the original book was.
I didn't watch. I'm sure I probably saw the movie at some point because
it followed the book almost exactly. I will say that. From my memory, but I was also like fucking 11 or something.
But also, well, of course, there's discrepancies as to whether a certain event happened. We'll get to in a moment.
Right.
So this Eva girl moves in with Karen.
In September.
Karen's out of school, of course, because she's had a baby.
Bless her heart. Like, can you... Anyway.
Yeah. Laura is already, I'm sure, dropped out of school.
It never says.
Yeah. But she works at a local bakery shop or something.
Pregnant.
Right.
Somehow. So, on September 21st, 12 days before they actually murder her, Karen sees Missy at a local park and just goes, straight ham on her and attacks her with a broken beer bottle. And she's, slapping her.
Pushing her around, and then some people get in between them and break them up.
This is really crazy because this is now the second case we've covered where right before they murdered somebody, this girl finds her in public and beats her ass in public. Okay, so you didn't think you was going to be a suspect in this shit?
I mean, right. It's like...
Everybody fucking saw it. So everybody had to get between your ass, and then this girl goes missing, and what? You just thought nobody was going to remember this?
So, and then during this time, Karen and Laura...
start to plan her murder.
They go, oh, you hate that bitch too? Oh, hold up, let's... And they get together and do their... Dr. Evil thing.
And I'm wondering also, just like in several other cases that at some point we will cover, if this was not one of those how you say to somebody like, oh, you hate her too, or oh, you hate him too, and then the other person's like, yeah, and then it just kind of gets out of hand. You know, like, did they, honest to God, sit there that night and they were like, we're actually going to murder her, or they were just like, we're going to go beat her ass? And then it do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then now you can't go back and be like, no, I don't really want to kill her, I was just talking shit, and
yeah, you don't want to be the one to push
to back
out.
down. Yeah, because fuck that shit. Mama didn't raise no bitch.
So a couple of days before they decide to, or they have decided to kill her, they go and
they have decided to confront
her. They go and they make up with her. Hey, you know, sorry, no bad blood.
Karen tells her
it's all
that
dicks under the bridge.
Right. Karen tells Missy that Randy and her having issues, and Missy's all like, dude, fucking leave him because he's like trash. Like, you don't need to fool with it. Like, you know, you're better than him, which, whatever. And of course, Karen's all like, in her heart, inside, she's like, this bitch is telling me to leave him because she wants him. You know, she's obviously, we've already covered she's got issues, but she smiles and she's like, you know, you're right. You know, we should totally start hanging out again, me and you and Laura.
And I truly believe at this time they've already planned to kill her.
Oh, I do too.
I don't think it was a confrontation.
I don't give two flying fucks. You do not confront somebody in a goddamn park isolated.
I mean, especially this park is like
way the fuck out there,
right? And I think this is the park with the missing 911.
Like, it is
dozens
Los
of
Angeles,
people,
or yeah, like
the Angeles National.
Maybe I'm just
dozens
a lazy.
Of people have just disappeared. I mean,
right?
Like, poof.
I mean, maybe I'm just a lazy motherfucker, but if I'm gonna confront you, we're just gonna have it right there. I'm not gonna drive your ass out to the park to confront you.
Right. I mean, it'd be way easier to get you to the park after you ain't moving so much.
Right. I mean, the fuck, but of course, this was also the 80s, and I mean, I don't know. You're right. I think that they did. I don't care what she says later. I think that they always planned to kill her. And I think that either that or they planned to beat her ass out in the middle of the woods and then leave her there and make her fucking ass walk all the way back.
I still think they planned to kill her.
You're right. But I was just playing.
I mean, you can play devil's advocate if you want.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean.
So this is around the 1st of October.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting ready. They're like, let's do this.
So Laura calls Missy and she's like, hey, you want to hang out? And Missy's all like, yeah, let's hang out. And so Missy goes and tells her mom that she's going to go hang out with Laura and that she's coming by and she'll be home by 8.
They're just going to hang out at the park.
Right.
You know, I'll be home by 8, don't worry. And then she says, I love you, Mom.
Yeah. Which later, Irene will say that normally when Missy left, she didn't specifically stop to make sure she told her, I love you. Okay, that would make me be all like, wait, what's happening? But anyway.
So Laura pulls up, you know, curb service.
Right.
Missy goes out, meets her. Her mom, obviously, I believe, said she watched them pull off.
Yeah, and she said that because she was glad to see her daughter happy again for having her friends back.
Yeah. So she's oh great, this is so great, the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
You misspelled last.
Right. You edit. So, in what doesn't make sense to me, in nothing I've seen, read, or even watched in the movie, Laura picks up Missy, and then Karen and Eva are in another car, and they all meet up. And then they're like, okay, so let's go here to this park. Why not just all be in one car? Maybe there wasn't enough room.
Nobody wants to ride bitch. Nobody wants to be in the back seat.
I guess so.
And it was the 80s. Everybody had 2-door cars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, that's what didn't make sense to me. Maybe there wasn't.
Now it's 4 doors, more whores. No.
Well, I mean, that makes more sense.
Right.
So
I'd rather have my own door. That's why I've always liked 4-door cars.
Right. So on the drive to the park, Missy's just talking Laura's head off, and Laura's just like pretty much like, yeah, okay.
And then Laura decides to not go to the park they had planned to go to.
Right.
And they drive up to the National Forest, which is what I was speaking of earlier. Was it the Angeles National Forest, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, and like, that's the disappearance place. That's like where...
First of all, if I hadn't been back good friends with y'all for a while and all of a sudden y'all fix to take me to a fucking national forest, no. Maybe I'm just really suspicious, but no.
I ain't going nowhere with you no matter what.
I mean, because this is not even 10 days or 12 days before that she's just got her ass beat with a broken bottle and all that shit. Like, why is she trusting this? Maybe that's why Karen didn't fucking pick her up. Maybe that's why Laura did. Because, you know, that was only 12 days before she had just beat her up. I didn't think about that. Anyway, so
when they all pull up to the park, or to the forest,
right.
The parking area of the forest.
Eva stays in the car.
But Karen and Laura both jump out, and Laura out of her car and walks around to the passenger side where Missy is.
Of her best friend's ride.
Yeah.
Trying to holler at me.
And she is, and she's hollering at her. And Karen's hollering at her.
You're a slut, whore, you're fucking our boyfriends, you're fucking trash.
And they jank her about the car.
By her hair.
And she's crying, and she's like, you know, what the hell's going on? I thought we were over this, you know, whatever.
Eva is confused as fuck. She's still in the car. She doesn't know what's going on. And they start to shove her and push her. And at this point, they decide they're going to go down towards the creek, which...
And I guess they're just kind of shoving her, pushing her towards up the trail, down the trail.
I know Kevin, Lord God, I know Karen was a big bitch. But if you think for 1 second, I wouldn't be fighting my ass off at that point, because at some point she had to know. This is not hanging out. Like, now, not only are they screaming and hollering at me, but she had to know going down that trail.
This is not cool, guys. This is, hold up.
I mean, I'd be fucking fighting. I would have ran something.
I mean, you could at least outrun one of them.
I just can't even imagine what was going through her fucking head. I don't know. First of all, I wouldn't have been there, but anyway. So, Eva hears Missy screaming for help, and she kind of starts walking towards them and follows them back.
And she's screaming, you know, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and I didn't mean to, and even though she didn't do anything.
She's trying to convince them, you know, she didn't mean to hurt their feelings.
She's trying to convince herself they're not going to kill me.
Yeah, well, guess what?
I mean, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Right, that's the, that's the denial part, and then the bargaining. And
yeah.
I mean,
grief of your own death, Missy. So, at this point, they start hacking her hair off. Because she had, I'm not going to say long, but, I mean, she didn't have this, like, Butch Dyke haircut Karen had. Okay? She had, I mean, it was, probably about down to her chest. With the feather.
Pretty for the age. Yeah, the feathers are awesome.
Yeah. And so they start hacking it away. They're just taking chunks of it off. And they're throwing it at her. They're throwing the chunks of her hair at Missy while she's laying there begging. And then one of them, who I think it was Karen, maybe, bends her arms behind her back. Is holding her arms behind her back.
They're beating the shit out of her.
Yeah,
they're punching her in the face.
And kicking her and calling her a whore.
Her hair.
And Eva's like, fuck
the
this.
Hair pulling shit. Come on. The only time you pull the hair is so you can drive the knee into the face.
That's right.
So then, and one of her earrings actually got pulled out. Yeah.
And it was just kind of in her hair. Like, you know that hurt. Which, I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, like, having my earring pulled out at this point probably wouldn't hurt as bad as the other. But,
sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. That would probably hurt. Shit. But it gets stuck in her hair. And then Eva's like, fuck this. And she goes back to the car. She's like, I am not in this.
She's like, right.
This is an AB and what is it? An AB and C conversation?
It's an AB conversation. I'm
going
to see
my ass out of here. I'm gone. And she's only 17. I mean, she's kind of the same age as them, but still.
It's a January, February conversation. I'm marching my ass back to the car.
And so, according to her, she doesn't know what happens after this. And
And according to Karen,
she leaves too.
Karen says,
this is when I turned my back on her.
I'm going to move this log that no one else in the party can move. I'm going to move this big 100-pound log, and then I'm leaving.
Which, fucking whatever, okay? At this point, we know what you've decided. She can say that shit now, 20-something years later?
I mean, she did her time, right?
Yeah, whatever. So, not only now have they beat this child to death, well, she's not quite dead yet, but
she's face down in the creek.
Yeah, they take her, they pick her up, one's got her legs and one's got her arms, and her arms are pinned behind her, and they
the way you carry a passed out person who's face down. I mean, one arm, one leg.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
one
on each side.
Yeah.
I get one arm, one leg. You get one arm, one leg.
And so they just kind of chunk her face down in 8 inches of water. And that's when they decide it would be a great idea to put a 100-pound log on the back of her head. But they weren't trying to kill her. according to them. I don't quite know what the fuck they thought they was trying to do if they wasn't trying to kill her, but where I'm from, if you put a 100-pound log on somebody's head that's in the water...
At this point, she stopped struggling.
Well, yeah.
They put the log...
But they wanted to make sure she wasn't going to move.
They held her face under the water until she stopped struggling. And then... At this point, if they had pulled her out, someone could have done CPR on her.
Maybe. I think by the end she was already beat up so bad, and they put her in there and they held her till she stopped. I don't know that they could have.
And then
I think the log was overkill.
Well, according to Karen, Laura put the 100-pound log on top of her.
Missy only weighed 98 pounds, so you've now put a log that weighs 2 pounds more than her on top of her head.
Right.
On her head. Not even on her back. On her head. She had no chance of sitting up.
Right. Well, it was, on her head and neck.
Yeah,
so there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Eva is...
if she could have got her arms up under there, she could have done a push-up and probably done it. Just depending on her upper body strength, for real.
But she was really... Not only was she really tiny, but think about it. They did beat her ass. Badly.
That's true.
And when you get your bell rung, you're kind of like...
Loopy. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's under the water, and... I don't think she had a chance at this point, period, but...
So they are like, okay, let's go.
Right. So they go back to the car, and Eva's like, so... Where is Missy? And they were like, we killed her. And then Eva's like, no, really? And she's like, no, we killed her. She's dead. Which I bet Eva was like,
no, really. No, really. No, we killed her.
I'm next.
I thought you said you killed her. We did.
No, yeah.
Oh, damn.
I'm next.
I'm next. Exactly. Please don't kill me.
Right?
I just moved here. I don't know any of your boyfriends. I'm just
Laura,
saying.
Right. Laura tells her, like, yeah, we killed her and she deserved it because she slept with Victor. Which, she's still holding on to this shit because that had to have been a whole, year and a half before at this point, ish. Give or take. Randy was closer to it happening, but Laura is stuck on that shit in the driveway.
So Missy doesn't make it home by 8 p.m.
No shit.
And her mother... of course, knows that something's wrong.
Right.
Calls the police the next morning. Missy's body's found 3 days later by hikers.
Right.
And they were stopping by the creek. People do that. Wash your face off while you're hiking, I guess. Wash the grime.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do a whole fuckload of hiking. Okay, let's face it. I don't do any hiking.
Right.
But I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen hiking
You
done.
hiked your ass up that hill when we were getting the cane and the turkeys got after us.
I did. The wild turkeys attacked us while we were cutting river cane for blowguns in one of our past lives.
Bitch, that was like
I know, it was
12 years ago.
I know.
Was that a past life?
Right. We live different now.
Yeah, we do. Very. Anyway, so...
They stop by the creek to wash off the grime and they find Missy with a log on her neck. Dead.
And just think, there were no cell phones, so these motherfuckers had to hike.
In one of the videos, or maybe the movie, was it? They one of the guys is like washing his face or something. Yeah. He comes up with a clump of hair.
Yeah, and that's when he looks.
And he's like, whoa, bro, look at this
that is
seaweed
the movie.
Or whatever. He's like, that's hair, bro.
And then they look up over to the left, and there she is.
Right.
In the book that I read back in the day, it actually shows a crime scene photo that now please let's not quote this, but I'm going to say that once the law came out from her family, the picture's gone, like in the newer versions of the book. Like, if you were lucky enough to get the book the first time, you got it. Like, they couldn't come take your fucking picture, but I think...
This devastates Missy's mom. She, is it Irene?
Yes.
Irene is she's, oh my God.
And Laura sends her mom, I can't even say this with a straight face. Laura sends her mom a sympathy card. Actually, everything said a get well card.
Right.
So I'm hoping that was a typo, because who the fuck sends a mom who just lost her daughter a get well card? Like, bitch, I hope you get well.
I hope you get over this shit, bitch.
Get the fuck over it. I mean, I'm really hoping they met sympathy and somebody just...
Right.
But everything I read said get well.
Get well, yeah.
But
maybe
it had...
all...
But here's the fucking kicker. Get well.
Here's $20. I
don't know. That still fucking, all these years later after reading that book, even at like 11 or 12 years old, I really remember thinking, what?
But during this, there's some contention. Here's the point of contention I was speaking of earlier. Karen says it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Most accounts say it did.
The prosecutors say it happened.
The prosecutor. The movie said it happened, but it said the mother was apprehensive about it happening. But in real life, the mother actually wanted Karen there. Karen moved in with Irene.
Yeah, and starts using Missy's makeup
and
some
sleeping
of her clothes.
in her bed.
Okay, but see, here's my...
And I'm saying that this is during the 3 days while she's missing, right?
No, this was like in the 6 months.
Oh, okay. After they found her body. Because Irene took her in. She was always considered a member of the family.
And she had the baby.
And
I'm sure by now Randy knows she's crazy pants.
She was someone that Irene could talk to about her daughter.
Right.
Someone who reminded her of her daughter every time she looked at her because they were best friends. You know, they had always been best friends up until not too long before this.
Right.
And they had recently gotten back together and were friends again as far as her mother knew.
Right.
So Karen says she didn't, but most accounts say that Karen moved in with Irene.
And it said that she moved out when she saw Missy's ghost in the house.
And she lived there until she saw an apparition of Missy's spirit, I would guess. And told Irene's mother this.
Yeah.
And was like, deuces.
Okay, but here's my question, though. As Irene, would you not realize then,
hey, why are you afraid
of Missy's ghost? Because to me, I would be like, if I saw Amber, I would be like, bitch. And then she'd be like, bitch. And I'd be happy that I got to see Amber. The only reason I wouldn't be happy to see Amber is if Amber's my friend who passed from leukemia.
I was about to give a side.
Yeah, sorry. But, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I would be excited to see her. So if all of a sudden I was like, oh, shit, I saw Amber, and you were like, why are you sad about it? You know, like, to me, as Irene, I would immediately have thought, oh, that's a guilty conscience, bitch. Why are you scared? You shouldn't be scared. Anyway, so 6 months into all of this, there's no clues. The only clue that they have is immediately after, I believe that it was Laura told the police that she left her there with 3 boys in a Camaro while she went to go get gas and came back and they were gone. Like, that was the only clue that they had.
Right.
Of course it didn't pan out, because it was a fucking lie.
I mean, come on, this is 85 though, right?
I mean, it still could have happened. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't. Weird shit happened. I mean, I know that.
Law enforcement techniques were not where they are now.
Right. But I mean, like, she, you know, Laura, that's all she said was like, it was 3 guys in the Camaro and I went to go get gas and Missy said she wanted to stay and hang out with these guys, which makes no fucking sense to me. But then we live in the world we live in now, so I'm like overly suspicious. But 6 months into this, they're still, you know, investigating and they don't have leads. And then Eva, her brother kills himself, and
the grief that she's experiencing
right.
puts her in the position
of Irene. And she goes to the police and tells them everything.
Yeah, she can't handle it.
I mean, she's, you know, in the time of, well, I mean, she was probably scared before that. I would have been scared. These bitches took her into the woods and came back and she
said, we killed her.
And she deserved it. So, you know, if I was Eva, I would have been like, oh, fuck. Everybody wants to say, why didn't you come forward? But until you're put in that position, I just don't think that people grasp the seriousness of, bitch, I just saw 3 people come in and only 2 came out. And I don't want to be in there with her.
I don't want to be the next one that don't come out.
They are obviously capable of this shit.
And of course the body had been found and buried and all that by this time, so she knew they really killed her.
Yeah.
It wasn't hearsay or they said they killed her. And
and
we just don't see her anymore.
No, I don't blame her for not immediately coming forward, but she does eventually do the right thing, and it wasn't like years and years and years. It was, 6 months. Both Karen and Laura are arrested and convicted, and Karen was released 23 and a half years after.
Give her that half year because she wants it in
that
every
motherfucker
interview.
says it in everything. Because Dr. Phil is like, so you served 23, 23 and a half.
Right. In every interview I've ever seen where someone
23 and a half.
23 and a half. Of course, I've never been in prison, so I guess you want your 6 months.
I guess I would be like, no, bitch, I served.
Right.
Anyway, so she gets out December 9th, 2011. And Laura was only served 22 years, but they were both released in December. One of 2011 and one of 2012.
Karen got out in the summer of 2011.
fucking Karen decides, okay.
Fucking Karen.
It's always fucking Karen.
Fucking Karen. Can I speak to the manager?
And her name is, what? Yep, it's always Karen. Karen writes a book about her experience.
Which causes a law to be...
Missy's Law.
Which is a lot like is it the Son of Sam law?
Yeah, and...
Where you can't, like the serial killers can't make money. Yeah, that caused a big, huge problem when I used to collect serial killer memorabilia when you were still able to do that.
And it's awesome. This book is awesome, people.
And that became a whole point of, like, people are profiting on it, and I can understand that. But Missy's Law says that Karen can't make any money off of the book she wrote about the murder.
Yeah. But it also says that they have to contact, if they're trying to, like the publishers, the publisher has to contact them and say, hey.
I think Karen has found a sneaky way around this, or did find a sneaky way around it.
She had to.
Where she does public speaking on bullying, and I've been there kind of thing. Which, I mean, yeah, you were there and you didn't handle it real well. Why the fuck would we listen to you?
Right. Bitch, you killed somebody. Like, how does
I understand. You learned from your mistake. Maybe she was rehabilitated. Have you rehabilitated yourself?
Well, I mean, okay, so that
Alice's restaurant's coming.
Oh, good God. So that goes back to me saying originally that she had very clear issues. And I honestly, as much as I tell people I'm going to cut somebody, I've obviously not done that. So I can't speak to her frame of mind, but I also know that in several of the interviews, she talks about being an alcoholic, or not necessarily a full-blown alcoholic, but drinking a lot and doing a lot of different drugs. And your brain is not...
This is your brain.
Right.
This is your brain on
But I mean,
drugs.
you know what I'm saying, though? When you're drinking and doing drugs...
And drinking and drugging.
Running them damn roads.
Running them damn streets.
In that damn car.
With them damn girls.
Yeah. You're not thinking. And if she truly had the mental issues that I believe she did, I think that it just kind of got out of hand. I'm not saying she didn't intend on killing her that day. I'm just saying it all got out of hand. And maybe she got help in prison. I haven't listened to her TED Talk. Oh, God, if she does a TED Talk, I'm going to vomit. But with her standing there telling Dr. Phil, they take her to the site. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
They take her to the site, and she's like, and this is where I decided I made the worst mistake of my life.
I'm tired of being your bodyguard. She looked at me, and I was like, sister, there ain't no help here.
And I made eye contact with Missy. And
try as I might, I can't find anything about Laura online, really. Anything that's like what's happened to her or anything like that. If anyone knows, drop us an email.
ThatDeadBodyShow@gmail.com.
Yeah, we own the domain. I'm just not up for running email right now. That's it, guys. That's another show. We did run this one through mostly straight through without a whole lot of editing. We know we talked a lot, but we haven't been here in a while, and trying to get back into being glib.
Right. I've spent the last 2 weeks deciding I hate everybody and stuck in a bed. We tried to record a couple times, and I just could not.
We recorded almost 3 hours of stuff.
Not on this subject.
On a different one that we will get out later. I'm not even going to mention it right now.
Right.
Because if it doesn't come out, then you'll be like, "Hey, what about blah, blah?" We ain't doing that.
Right. But we did, and I tried to sit up, and it was just a disaster, and I was ill.
And it's such a long case that we don't want to cut things, but I mean,
it's really hard to do.
We were 2 times over an hour in.
Yeah.
And started over. From the first time we started over and recorded another hour, and then we were like,
and it's still a fucking train wreck because it's so long, right. and I want to go into more detail just because
no one does.
Yeah, and because it's a really fucked up case.
It's so much stuff. It really is. But we really hope you enjoyed this case, right. Murder of Missy Avila.
We'll see you next week.
Stick around.
Right. Please. Thank you.
Y'all come back now. You're here.
Also, after this, stay tuned for I Said Goddamn's promo. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, true crime listeners, check out our podcast, I said goddamn. We're a true crime comedy podcast hosted by two besties who like to share messed up cases that make you say goddamn. Every Sunday, we try to one-up each other's story by sharing a horrific case the other has never heard of. Along the way, we splash in some wildly inappropriate jokes and colorful language. Listen every Sunday from any of your favorite podcast directories. Also, follow us on Twitter at ISGD Podcast or visit our website, isgdpodcast.com.
We are